So yes, my phone was crooked and I fixed it. I am wearing just some comfy clothes that I was wearing around the house all day. I don't have shoes on. I don't like to lift weights with shoes because I find that sometimes it just impedes my balance and my stability. So I work out barefoot, wearing whatever I happen to be wearing if it's comfortable. Sometimes I'll put something on that's a bit more breathable and, you know, more fitted depending on the style of the workout. But for this beginner one, I'm just wearing my comfy clothes. I got my cancer t-shirt on here from a dear friend that I lost. And yeah, I'm just gonna get at it. Also, you will notice over the course of the next 7 to 10 days that my gym is changing. I used to work out, you know, over to my left. I had a nice kind of studio space. It wasn't fancy, like don't let me pretend that it was. And you'll see it actually in, I think, workout number 4. But Chris and I are renovating the gym space because we've got some new equipment that we're really excited about, barbell and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff. So yes, the studio is going to change. You're going to see a transition and an evolution of not only yourself, but the gym. So let's get started. One of the things that you'll notice about all of my workouts is I have the exact same warm-up. I believe in simplicity. I believe in keeping it easy. So when you're coming to work out in the morning or after work and you're tired and you're just like, oh, you know, maybe I want to do this, the workout's going to be the same. And it's going to cue your body that you're about to do some work, which would be the main set. So, you know, I always start with 10 arm circles. Forward and then backwards. Make them as big as you want, small, big, whatever you're feeling. And I do leg swings. Also 10. I like to use this as my balance component because I don't want to fall and break a hip. If this is too much for you and you have something to hold on to, I'm not sure if you can see me if I go out of this. Maybe I'll come over here to the wall. Hang on to the wall. And that's okay. Maybe you have a really strong right leg and your left leg is a little bit looser or less stable, so you need to hang on to something. There's no shame in being a beginner. Hopefully, you know, with some time, you can get to the point where you can do it not hanging on to something, because stability is our friend. So once we do forward and backwards, I like to go out to the side. This is just like warming up the hips a little bit, getting our mind ready, letting our heart rate come up slowly. And I find that when I work out, my heart rate tends to like jump up really high, and I want it to kind of relax and come down. So this gives my body that cue that I'm going to do work, and then it kind of settles in. Just this warm up is great for the glutes, let me tell you. Okay, then I do something that I've called the reach squat. I actually learned it from Jennifer Campbell at the Bombertown Evolution Gold Corp, whatever we're calling it today, rec center. She does this move. It has been my favorite, so I've incorporated it. So this is a shout out to Jen Campbell. We'll do a nice stretch overhead. We're going to bend down. You can bend your knees because we're going to squat, lift it forward, and then come up. It's nice to keep this as like a nice fluid motion. Go as fast or as slow as you need. Get your body going. We do 10 of these. And this is the actual warm-up that I also use before every workout. Maybe you can't go down as far. That's okay. Maybe you can't squat down as far. That's okay. Lift your hands and come up. You're going to do what feels good for you today. And I talk about this later on in a video because I did not shoot these in sequence. Where you are today is okay. I want you to try your best to complete these workouts. With time, where you are will change, but we also have to remember that our bodies are changing. My body is nowhere near where it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. We change. And if you're still menstruating and you're not quite in the perimenopause, postmenopause station of your life, your body changes daily, depending on where you are in your cycle. So just because a workout feels really tough today doesn't mean it's going to feel tough later, because a lot of that has to do with just what kind of energy you have going on today. Whether you slept last night, how much your kids have annoyed you, did you eat well? All those things come into play. So, if today's workout is hard, that's okay. And you will hear me huffing and puffing and struggling because I am a beginner again. So I'm not in fabulous shape. I'm like in that mode where if you can't do it, teach it kind of thing right now. But I am getting stronger with you. So I have the next portion of this workout is some pelvic floor work. And the reason that we do that is because the pelvic floor holds everything kind of up nice inside of us. And it's connected all the way from your diaphragm down to the musculature of your actual pelvic floor, which holds in your uterus and your bladder. It's what helps you enjoy sex. It's what helps you give birth. It's what helps you keep urine and feces, stool, whatever you poop, whatever you want to call it, from just flying out of us. It helps us pee and stop peeing. You get the point. And we often neglect it. So if you've had children, your pelvic floor could be weaker. If you've had some sort of trauma, your pelvic floor could be weaker. If you've aged, your pelvic floor could be weaker. Like all muscles, if you don't use it, you lose it. So by strengthening it and paying some mindful attention to our pelvic floor, we can reverse leakage. Like if you're having leakage during exercise, you can actually strengthen your pelvic floor enough that that stops. It really comes into play with like the menopause transition, because unfortunately with the loss of estrogen, our muscles deplete in strength, and our vaginal area dries out and tightens up, and it doesn't stay the playground that it once was for us. Let's just, I'm just going to say that. And so by doing some of these exercises, you can actually kind of revitalize things down there, including softening the tissue of your vagina, increasing lubrication, which, in my mind sounds pretty good. So I, in the past, have had issues with urine leakage, particularly when jumping. So I use pelvic floor exercises to try to, mitigate that. I'm talking a lot, I know. So I'm just going to get at it. The first thing that we do is with the pelvic floor exercises, we have an A, B, C. A, B, C. A is just a line. Standing up nice and tall, or maybe you're sitting nice and tall, kind of feeling everything in alignment. Okay. Now the next is breathing. And if you feel comfortable, put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. You can close your eyes if you want, or you can stay open. And when you breathe in, we're going to do a nice big yoga breath where our belly gets bigger as we breathe. And as we exhale, our belly tightens. Now, at the same time, your pelvic floor area is also going to kind of balloon open with the breath. So your belly is going to expand and your pelvic floor is going to kind of like open below, I guess you could say. I did that backwards. Now on the exhale, when you're bringing your stomach in, you're also going to lift the pelvic floor up. And that's where we're just going to start with this ABC. That's the breath. And then the connection is feeling that pelvic floor moving up. Over time, we can add more to it, but I think for the kind of the span of this time period, we're just going to work on that alignment, your belly breathing, and then just feeling that connection when you breathe out, that it's lowering, and when you're breathing in, that, or opposite, breathing in, that it's lowering, breathing out. Maybe I can cut this part out. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not quite the videographer. Okay, so now we've done the warm-up, we've done the pelvic floor exercises, and I've added a plyometric move to most of my workouts because plyometrics allows you to gain power, it allows you to gain strength, it allows you to gain agility, it allows you to work on your balance, and it gets your heart rate up. So in this one, I've kept it very simple. Not to say that jumping jacks are easy for everyone, but it's a move that most of us are familiar with. It doesn't take a lot of coordination. So 10 jumping jacks. Nice soft landings. You might have issues with leakage. If you do, try to be mindful of your pelvic floor. If that's too much for you, you can hold your hands on your hips and just do the out jack. If that's still too much, you can always just step out. While stepping out does not have the benefits of the plyometrics, it is still moving. And it is the very first step to eventually getting some jumping jacks in. So honor where you are today, respect your body, and do your best. So from there, we move into the main set. And when I write up these exercises, I always leave like a minute or two kind of to rest between the plyometrics and the main exercises. Allow you to get your weights, kind of catch your breath before like jumping in. So the first exercise is a goblet squat. You can use a dumbbell or a kettlebell if you have one. And the goblet squat is like after holding like a goblet. You know, if you were a queen, you would have a goblet of something delicious and red. Sure. So you can hold it, you know, whatever makes you comfortable. We don't want you to drop this on your toes. So, you know, yes, the ideal is to hold it up like this, but just don't, you know, hold it so you don't drop it on your toes. You kind of hold your arms out. Your legs are a little space apart. Now, everyone's squat looks a little bit different. We all have different like hip to knee ratios. So if you've got wider hips or a bigger bum, you might need more room for your squat. Totally fine. If some people, you know, have more of a narrow structure, they can maybe have it closed up. So don't worry about reading about form and how it's supposed to look perfect, because your anatomy is yours and your squat's going to look different than anyone else's. So just, again, do what works for you. So you're going to hold this dumbbell nice and tight. I've got my legs nice and open, and I'm just going to go down and up. And I have written it out to be 8 to 12 reps. So that means, you know, if the weight's a little bit heavy or you're a real beginner and you get 8 in, that's great. If you can get 12 in, that's great. If you get, you know, often I'll have more than one set of these. So maybe it's 8 the first time, and maybe once you get moving, you get more in the next time, or vice versa. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Now, ideally, we'd like you to put your butt out and come back. You're going to have your chest up and try to get parallel to the ground, but maybe you can't go that far. I don't even know if I can get parallel. Maybe you just do a tiny little squat. But think of yourself as sitting back into your chair and then come up. And when you're on the up, squeeze that bum, because that is where we get some extra work for our glutes. Now, the next move is a chest press. It can be on the floor, on a bench. I have a bench, but it is stuck in the back behind a whole lot of other things right now. So I'll do it on the floor. And I have done or created the workout with a superset. That means you're going to do your squats, then you're going to do your chest press, then you can go back to your squats, then back to your chest press. I try to do them without a lot of rest in between because it kind of gets your heart rate up, and we're not lifting like super, super heavy, which would require like more rest. So yeah, I'm going to scooch down. I hope you can see me, but basically what I'm going to do is lie down and then pick the weights up and press them to the sky. You can keep your legs up so then I see this, and you're just going to come up. Now, the benefit to having a bench is that your elbows can kind of go below, so you can get these weights a bit lower. But the floor, if that's all you have, that works too. Try to be mindful that you're kind of keeping your arms, kind of straight. If they're way out here, that's a lot harder. And if they're inside, you're working different muscles. So you kind of want them just like right above you. You also don't want to lock out those elbows. You want to keep like a nice soft bend in them. You can also kind of turn it out and come this way, which is how you would do it if you were using a barbell. I'm going to tell you, it feels a lot different. It's actually a lot harder like this. So up to you how you want to do it. Just be mindful that A, the weight is not too heavy for you, and B, you don't, slam yourself in the face, because that would not be fun. Now I'm going to jump into the next exercise. So I have written that you will do 2 rounds of that. So you'll do squats, chest press, squats, chest press, rest. And then I believe, because my information is on my phone, which is recording, is we have a lunge. And I've written it out to be a reverse lunge because I find that's the most stable for me. I like to recommend a really light weight for this because lunges, the way we separate our legs and move them, it actually, a heavy weight, it's going to hurt. Basically, you won't become injured, but you may not walk tomorrow. So take it from me, who learned the hard way, to just start with a light weight. If you're an absolute beginner, you don't even need to use a weight. You can just do the lunges, and I promise you will feel that. So I'm using some 5-pound dumbbells, which is pretty good for me right now. I'm going to stand nice and tall. I'm going to step back with my right leg, kind of come down and step forward. Step back, come down, step forward. Now we have to 8 to 12 on each leg, so you can count out 20 or 16 to 24 if that's what you want. It's kind of what I do. I find it easier. Coming out a little bit allows you to have more stability. So, that wide leg a little bit further back. Just really take care of your knee. You don't want to be too wobbly and hurt yourself. Alternatively, if you don't want to alternate, you can do one leg at a time. If that's easier for you with stability. Another option is to just stay here and go a stationary lunge, which is down and up. There is no preference to which one you do. There's, they all have their attributes, and you're not going to get a better workout from one over the other. They just are what they are. So don't feel bad. And like I said, if weights are too much, even if you get like 3 with weights and you're like, no, this hurts, you drop them. Because we want you to feel successful. Okay, so it's gonna be 8 to 12 lunges on each leg. Then we're gonna pick up some weights and do a lateral raise. Now I have, again, a 5-pound dumbbell. Sometimes this is okay, sometimes I need a 3. My chest and shoulders are really weak, particularly on my right side from surgery. So just take it nice and easy. We're gonna come up and down. Kind of wanna lead with your elbows, nice and slow. You don't need the weight to come like all the way over your head. She could just kind of come up parallel. If you find that this is really straining your neck and you can just feel like everything just tightening, for me, that's a good hint that that's a bit too heavy. So then you can just find something lighter. And that is how we do the lateral raise. So you're going to do 2 sets of those, just like the goblet squats. You're going to do some lunges, some lateral raises, some lunges, some lateral raises, and then we're done the main workout. Like, this is a really nice short one. And then from there, we're going to go into plank. I will demonstrate a plank for you. I prefer a high plank. I just don't like low planks. So it's totally up to you. I recommend getting your phone out, putting on your stopwatch so you can see how long you're going. The length of time that you get is yours, and it's totally cool. The goal is to start with your benchmark and see how you grow over time. That's a progress goal. I don't do well at plank. It's never been a strong suit for me. I prefer to move than to be still. That's probably it. So, this is a struggle. Basically, you're going to go up into push-up mode, into plank, and you're just going to hold here. Keeping your feet together is harder. Keeping your feet out, I find, is easier. You want to engage your glutes, which is your bum, your core, your stomach, your quads. You kind of want to do everything, keeping it nice and tight. Like this belly in here, not really a plank. This bum up here, not really a plank. If that's where you are, just take note of that and see if you can improve it over time. For some people, this might be too much. So maybe you keep, I hope you can see me well. One knee down and you put it up for just like 1, 2, 3, and then you rest the other knee. That's okay. It's also okay if you are in kind of like knee push-up mode and just try to hold yourself here. Not the best scenario, but it's better than nothing. Again, some people like the low